This week on Fishing Texas, we're going to explore a quiet little lake in East Texas that has a big reputation. We'll join Clark Wendlandt on Lake Raven in Huntsville State Park. It's late summer, and the frog bite is on. From the Lone Star State, where the tradition of bass fishing runs deep, we bring you Fishing Texas with three-time FLW Angler of the Year, Clark Wendlandt.
You know, Lake Raven is just a little small lake in the middle of Huntsville State Park, and you know, it's just kind of one of those places in Texas that there's a whole lot of that just kind of goes overlooked for the most part. And when we were coming into the lake today, I looked over to the left, and one of the arms of the lake you kind of drive close to, and I just saw a ton of matted vegetation. I didn't have any idea really what it was. I could see a few lily pads, a little bit of grass, and I was just thinking to myself, this is going to really be good. Come. Oh, this stuff is thick. Now, I got as big a rod as I can have, is that I own, and as heavy a line as I can go with, and I still can't pull that thing out of the pads. So basically, you just got to end up going to them sometimes. I didn't really realize how big it was. I knew it was a good fish, but it put up a pretty good tussle. We actually had to go to it. And when we got over there, I mean, 7+, might have been a little skinny in the tail, but I mean, just a gorgeous fish. Black and dark, had been in all that grass. And man, I mean, to me, it just doesn't get any better than that. Oh, come on. Look at that thing. That is unbelievable. We just started fishing, and I'm sitting there talking about this frog. Look at, he ate the frog. I mean, it's gone. Look how pretty that bass is. That is unreal. Look at the head on that thing. God, I thought he was pretty big, but I had no idea that I'm gonna pull this thing out and it's gonna be a over 6 easy, over 6 pounder. I mean, I can stick my hand all the way down in his head. Look at him. Look how pretty that fish is. Dark green water. That's about as awesome as you can get right there. Big, man. Wow. I couldn't get any better than that. Wow, what a fish. I mean, we've only been here fishing for maybe 10 minutes, and what we did is we got to a little place and we were in just normal pads, and then all of a sudden we get to this place that there's hydrilla kind of mixed in there, and I'm thinking, man, this looks really good. And there's a couple little, you know, fish kind of popping around and stuff. That's kind of what you want to see when you're fishing pads, and you want to just see a little movement on top because those fish are sitting right under that canopy. And you know, when you have a frog, and it doesn't matter if it's early or not. We're here early in the morning, but it doesn't really matter. You just want, they'll sit right under that shade because that's where they ambush stuff, whether it be a frog or eating brim or whatever it is. And so, man, let's get another one.
For information on Lake Raven, we encourage you to visit the Texas Parks and Wildlife website at tpwd.state.tx.us. Coming up, we're just getting started on Lake Raven. We'll be right back with more from Fishing Texas.
Before you head out here, get ready at Cabela's, your source for the hottest new gear at tough-to-beat prices. Save big on everything you need when you shop by catalog, stores, and online at Cabela's.com. Our legendary selection is field-tested and field-proven. You can trust our gear. Cabela's, world's foremost outfitter.
Evinrude E-Tech is the only outboard that gives you more of the experiences you want. Like more acceleration and top-end speed, more time on the water with no maintenance for 3 years or 300 hours, more chances to catch more fish, and more fun. The Evinrude E-Tech, it's more, and more than anything else on the water. Experience more with Evinrude.
If you want to activate the bass, you better have a hydro wave. You got 6 different bait fish sounds. You run it at any volume, you can see them actually come up to the speaker of the hydro wave. You can watch them come up off the bottom.
When you're fishing deep, the hardest one to catch is always the first one. With the hydro wave, you get them going faster.
Hydro wave, I won't fish without it.
Lucas Fishing Reel Oil is a special blend of oil and additives, specifically designed to lubricate all moving parts in freshwater and saltwater fishing reels and rust corrosion protection even under the most adverse conditions. The new one-drop applications allow you to put just the right amount of lubricant into hard-to-reach areas. Increase your reel performance with Lucas Oil high-performance products. Learn more at lucasoil.com. Welcome back to Fishing Texas. This portion of the show is brought to you by Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter of hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time. And by Amphibia, performance floating eye gear. Welcome back to Fishing Texas with Clark Wendlandt. We're in East Texas at Lake Raven, a 200-acre lake located within the boundaries of Huntsville State Park. Lake Raven is one of those hidden gems in the Texas Park and Wildlife System, surrounded by tall pines and rimmed with thick vegetation.
When I fished here in the past, probably 10 to 15 years ago, there was a lot of hydrilla, there was a lot of grass, and that was kind of the dominant cover. And there was some grass today, but what I noticed that was so different is just tons and tons of lily pads. And those lily pads just make a great canopy on top of the water, mixed with a little bit of chopped up grass, and that's where the fish we caught were. You know, a lot of people would just look at this mass of pads and they'd be thinking, well, I got to fish the edge of that. I got, you know, but when the grass actually gets up and the pads get up and you get all this different slop, I mean, bass can go as far back in that as they want to. They can get all the way into the 1 foot stuff. And this mass of pads where we're sitting right here is like 7 feet deep. Well, we can follow it back and it's going to get to be 5 and finally 3 and all the way back. But those bass can be anywhere and all that. As long as there's a little bit of a cave underneath that slop on top, there's a good chance that they'll be underneath it. And so, you know, we'll just keep pushing back there and just look for a little area within the grass, within the slop that most of the fish will be in. And hopefully we can figure that out. Oh. He was kind of right where it started opening up. We got so much grass. You can see his tail. He's in that mass of grass right there. Somewhere, not very big though. Little bitty one. And it took everything I could to catch him. He totally ate that frog too though. Look at that. As far in there as it can get. So anyway, we kind of just working back out. We went way back in and didn't do any good. And we kind of started seeing a few little blow-ups out here. Look how dark that fish is. I mean, as dark black as a bass just about will get. That just tells you where he's living. He's living in real thick stuff. That's what it'll look like. And you see them under these mats and stuff, and they'll be nearly black. Not great big, but pretty cool. Oh, that's a good bite though. Not a great big one, but that's cool. Now that one hit it pretty darn aggressively there. Look how dark those fish are. I mean, it's just nearly black. If you look at them that way, it is black, but there's just barely a little white in their belly. Frog gone. He got it good. That's a nice, just a good 2-pounder anyway.
Coming up, we've got more frog fishing on Lake Raven. Don't go away. What significant event in Ranger Boats history occurred in May of 1971? Well, for the answer to this question and to learn more about the last 45 years of Ranger Boats, visit mydreamrig.com.
Focused, driven, and engineered to excel. This is the all-new Ranger Z520C. From the total performance hull to a revolutionary interior design, it's our most advanced bass boat to date. Combined with Evinrude E-Tech's power, performance, and 300 hours with no dealer schedule maintenance, this is a level of leadership that's easy to see and hard to follow. Experience more with Evinrude.
Introducing the most advanced, efficient predator on the water today, Triton's new XS series. Stalk your prey with hot new features like a solid-state fuseless stash with push-button start and support for 10-inch depth finders, and new bow control with support for 8-inch depth finders. Prowl the deep with our most advanced drivability, maximum comfort, and an incredible hole shot. The new XS by Triton.
If you're going to be the best, every day is a work day. There's no time off, no vacation, no sick days. Every day's the same. Breathe, dream, sacrifice, and sweat. Every day you work late, and every morning everyone else knows you'll be working late again today.
This portion of Fishing Texas is brought to you by Triton Boats. We take America fishing. By Evinrude. Spend more time on the water. And by Lucas Marine Products. It works. Welcome back to Fishing Texas. We're on Lake Raven in East Texas with Cabela's Bass Pro Clark Wendlandt.
I lost him, I think. I had him on for just a second. God, I can't pull it at all. Yeah, I lost him. Golly. I mean, he hit it twice, and then I actually had hopped it. It was sitting dead on top of the pad. And then I put it in that hole and just let it sit there and let it sit there and let it sit there and let it sit there, and all of a sudden, finally, kaboom. I mean, pretty nice one too, but I mean, the hook was totally exposed. It was just one of those kind of unlucky deals. And that's, you know, that's gonna happen. You're gonna lose fish in this kind of cover. You know you're gonna lose some, but it's still, it's worth it because it's too much fun when you get a bite. Little guy. I had made that same cast about 5 times in a row, and I finally got this one. I mean, we had a couple of them blow up while we were releasing one just a second ago that sounded pretty big. I feel like there's a couple big ones in there. Gosh, those fish are pretty. I mean, to me, that is the prettiest bass I've just about ever seen. I mean, dark, black, you know where they're coming from, you know they're up in that stuff. That is too much fun. coolest sport ever. He's still on there. Oh, there's just so much cover between me and him. Oh, come on out there, Dad. I can see him down there. He's still on there. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever find him, but he's there. Oh, that's a nice one. Look how deep that frog is gone in his mouth. I mean, it wasn't getting rid of that one. He choked on that thing. Well, I mean, when you get one that is that far back in that stuff, you just got to jerk and hold on. And it's not, you know, a lot of times guys will say, well, hey, how long do I wait before I set the hook? I mean, if they get it, you better set the hook right then, or you have no chance to get them in. Good fish. Awesome. Cool. We didn't have to go to him. Oh. That was pretty cool. He was just aggressive enough to where I was just thinking, I think he's gonna bite it again. Oh gosh. Oh, God, I lost him. Oh, that was a nice one. You know, a lot of guys look at this much cover and they may fish it and they're always thinking, you know, plastic worm, or I'm gonna flip it, or I may work the outside of it. But to me, you know, there's too many clues that say frog to me. When you get in this stuff, we've seen frogs, we've seen them, you know, skipping across the surface. We had one try to get my bait. A lot of what we see is hollow, and so there's hollow stuff underneath it. Those bass can just cruise anywhere through there, and then they got this canopy over their head, and to me that says frog. And then also what you kind of see, you see them kind of blowing up. If you get on the outside of it, you would never see it, but as you get in it, you'll just kind of see a little fish move here and a little fish move there, and to me, it's just kind of all, you know, kind of come together, putting the puzzle together that, you know, that's the best way to fish. And, you know, I think when you do it all day, you got a chance to catch some big ones.
Coming up, Lake Raven still has a few surprises in store. Don't go away. The Texas Team Trail presented by Cabela's is now registering for the 2013 season. Visit texasteamtrail.com for all the details.
Now give me Branson, where folks are smiling, and all the while inviting you there. Warm and cozy, feeling rosy, friendly places, woo, smiling faces.
Escape the winter blues with a dose of fun Branson style. Many shows and attractions are open, so call today for special winter schedules.
Give me Branson, where folks are smiling. Branson, Missouri. Now that's entertainment. Call 888-339-4949.
I think the reason these fish hit these baits so well is not just the action that the baits have, but the lighted eyes and the lighted tail. There's a good one. That's a big one.
Biologists have been saying it for years. Bass use their senses to find food. Livingston Lures is leading the way with lures that emit vibration and sound technology to incite a feeding frenzy.
About took the rod out of my hand.
Livingston Lures is the innovator of vibration and sound technology that mimics biology. LivingstonLures.com.
Freedom Live Action Hybrid Jigs, designed with state-of-the-art technology that given the ability of the fisherman to easily customize the hook or bait to the actual presentation with an easy twist on and off snap. It gives the bait a free range of motion. Give more natural and realistic action. Bring fishing to the next level of enjoyment. Freedom Live Action Hybrid Jigs. For more information, go to freedomlures.com.
How about that?
Fishing Texas is brought to you in part by Stratos Boats, by Hydrowave, ignite a feeding frenzy, and by Dodge Ram and the new Ram 1500. Welcome back to Fishing Texas with Cabela's Bass Pro Clark Wendlandt. With the frog bite in full swing on Lake Raven, Clark went in search of new water when Lake Raven threw in a little surprise.
We just pulled into a school of fish and they are blowing up everywhere. I got a topwater on. Had one hit it, another one hit it. There's one got it. Just everywhere right here. Well, I said all I was gonna throw was braided line all day, but I did have a big super spook on. I gotta get back and catch another one. I have a big super spook on, maybe I mean, there's so many fish right there, it's unbelievable. And they're not just like little bitty. I mean, some of them that are blowing up are, at least I saw a couple 3-pounders. Oh my gosh, now that is cool. Oh my God, this is so, oh, it came off. I felt like that one was pretty good. Get it out of the water again. Like when you look at the depth finder, it's just solid all around, everywhere out here. It's just solid fish. That's ridiculous. That was a pile of fish. They're just not very far down at all. You know, I threw a crankbait, no good. Threw a swim bait, they got down a little bit, but they're just a little bit of timber right here. And those fish just aren't very far down. Well, those are healthy fish. That's one thing for sure. Goodness Christ. And you can definitely contrast this fish to what we saw earlier in those pads. You know, look at this fish has got some white on his belly, still just as thick, just as pretty. He just is not near as dark, and he's not spending all his time under a bunch of lily pads and a bunch of grass. Well, those fish that were schooling out in open water, they were just out there in some standing timber. And there was some timber there, but it was hard to really sit there and key on it. I tried 5 or 6 different baits and just really couldn't get any more bites. I'd get a bite every once in a while on topwater. I could see a lot of fish on my depth finder. They just weren't very far down. They were pretty close to the top. And you know, I'm sure we could have stayed there and caught a few, but I mean, after catching a 7-pounder starting the day in the middle of those pads, I was just like, we got to go back to doing that again. we went on down, and as we kind of get in the next little area of pads, we're going through there, and a couple little fish are blowing up, and you just really got to pay attention to what's going on. And when you get in those pads, it may just be a little swirl, it may be a big blow up, but all of a sudden we hear a blow up, and you look back, and there's a frog skipping on top of the water. And I mean, to me, that is like the coolest thing ever. I mean, when there's frog, you're throwing a frog and there's frogs moving on top of the water that bass are feeding on, that's really cool. And so I actually threw back there. I don't think he got that frog. The frog was pretty big. It was a big size frog, even bigger than the frog I was throwing. And I got my bait, I had it sitting there, and all of a sudden, kaboom. Oh my gosh, that's a good one. Oh gosh, what a giant. Hold on, dude. He's still on. I saw that thing move on top. The frog is kind of jumping out of his way. And I think I lost that fish. I had to. No, I thought he was bigger than that. I thought it was one of those 7 or 8 pounders because it was such a gigantic blow up, but that's a good one. Now what happened was is we hear a blow up, and all of a sudden I look back, and there's a frog skipping along the top of the water. And so I threw right back there, and I got pretty much in the exact right spot, and it's sitting there, and kaboom, that is too much fun right there. Look at that thing. Good 3.5 pounder at least. Awesome deal. That is so much fun right there. We were just commenting how cool these pads look right here. And they're just, everything's just perfect right here. It's really still, and you know, wind will hurt you from time to time. You get wind, you're always seeing the the ripples there, and the fish can't find that bait quite as easy, I feel like. So you kind of would just assume it'd be flat, and it is just perfect right here.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's Fishing Texas from Lake Raven. If you've never fished it, give it a look. And remember, registration is underway for the 2013 season of the Texas Team Trail presented by Cabela's. Visit texasteamtrail.com for all the details. Fishing Texas is a Careco TV LLC production. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.